Nation. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. Got Goldfish on the drums. We got Eddie Arseneault on the bass. And we got Alex LeBlanc on the guitar. We also got here in the studio with us Zac Rouselle. And we got a new Jamstrumental out tonight. Manuel Leger making his debut. So yeah, we're gonna get into some jams here. We do this every Tuesday, improvise a bunch of stuff, talk about a bunch of stuff, just have some fun. And we do this on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. You can hit that subscribe button, smash that notification bell, hit that like button. Helps out a lot with the algorithm, helps with getting this show out there to the masses. So, we also got Adam Gould here now. Adam Gould in the house. All right, let's get into it. Oh yeah, we're also taking donations on PayPal and taking e-transfers. Thank you so much for your donations. Shout out to Justin, Gogan, Sally, Cole. Also Kitty, thank you so much for your donations. Yeah, we also got the chat open now too. Shout out to Don Arnold, shout out to Elon Musk, shout out Mr. Beast. tasty. Got Goldfish here on the drums. We got Eddie Arseneault here. We also got Manuel. Yeah, we got Adam Gould here. There's Alex LeBlanc on the guitar. Gonna get in some more jams. Yeah, so we're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch right now. Adam's setting up the MPC. There's a cable there by the Hammond. The
braided red
red one. Yeah,
okay.
That's it. Got it.
Braided red rum.
Do you have it, Ross? Is there somewhere that you'd, ideally, whether it's for the camera or for sound, that I would set up, or
Yeah, wherever you want.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, facing towards cameras, ideally, I guess. The back corner seems like a good spot. Oh yeah, we also got Zach putting his amp there.
Hey, Zach, I might see if I can sneak right in there with the NBC. Good call, Ross, because I can monitor nicely from there.
Yeah, it's close to the speaker. Yeah. Yeah, we got the chat open right now. Streaming live, Moncton, New Brunswick. Dopamine. Freaking right, everybody. Jamstrumental.
Jamstrumental.
86. Dopamine edition. We're going to talk all things dopamine tonight. You're probably on dopamine right now.
Some sort of dope.
We got Eddie Arseneault on the drums. Now we got Goldfish on the bass. And we got Manuel, first time Jamstrumentalist, here on guitar. And we got Zac Rouselle from Wreckage here on the guitar. And we got Alex LeBlanc from Make Sense Limited on the Hammond. And can't forget Adam Gould right there on the MPC, making all sorts of sonic deliciousness. Get your dopamine receptors going there tonight. Arseneault. Shout out to Isabel LeBlanc. Andrew Moore. Jay Goulding. Jamstrumental 86 Dopamine Edition. Thank you so much for tuning in. Jamstrumental. Glant. Yeah, huge shout out to Emily Glant there. And also Amy Glant. Sweet. Friggin' right, everybody. Suppose you probably want to get on the kid, eh, Adam? Cool. Yeah, I could hop on the kit for a little bit. Wait. Alright, so Jamstrumental 86, Dopamine edition. That thing trips me out sometimes. Where the fuck's that sound coming from? Oh, it's Adam Analog. Goldfish here with us on the bass. We got Alex LeBlanc on the keys. We got Manuel, first time Jamstrumental. Here on the guitar, we got Zac Rouselle guitar, and Adam Analog on the digital sound things. Try not to like do it too much.
I put it at 2 from 2 to 3. I don't know.
Yeah, that should be alright.
I can hear you much there. Yeah, I can't hear myself at all. Well, a little tiny bit. Tiny bit, yeah. Some quiet parts
Alright. Oh yeah, this side. Grab my mixer. Make some adjustments. frig yeah. You might want to check your shoe, Eddie. I know there's like a bunch of... It's like all sticky. You got sticky stuff?
I don't. Maybe the rubber's melted. Unless the rubber's melted, I don't know. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay. Weird. This looks fine.
Well, I played barefooted.
Oh, you did? So it was fine when you played?
So, yeah, must have been me, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I wonder if we have I'm gonna put some tape on it. It's weird. It's weirding me out. Duct tape fixes everything. Yeah, there's you just have to switch the cable. There's a cable there. There's just like a wireless. You just unplug it from the tuner. The tuner pedal. Unplug the input from the tuner. There you go. The tuner to the right. That one, yeah, that's the one right there. So just there's a 90-degree jack there. Use that. That's better. That's not bad with the duct tape. Duct tape. Sticky business. We got some duct tape. Fixes everything. Duct tape. Fix anything you want. Duct tape makes all your dreams come true. Duct tape, use it when you don't want to use glue or a screw. Duct tape, sticking things together. Hey Zach, what's your favorite thing about duct tape?
That it sticks to things,
This is true.
and it fixes things. Just everything.
fuck would we be without this wonderful invention? I don't even want to know.
Yeah, duct tape.
Fuck yeah. All right. So I'm going to ask my good friend Adam Gould, a.k.a. Adam Analog, a.k.a. Heavyweight Voice, a.k.a. Solid Gold Promotions. Got the same initials.
SGP.
We're initial brothers.
I usually have my own sticks, but
I'm not sure if they were mine or not. Those were mine, but go ahead.
Oh, so they weren't mine.
5Bs? Los Cables 5B? Fuck, that's what dreams are fucking made of, man. That's the best stick ever.
Those are like New Brunswick, aren't they? New Brunswick sticks.
Sure.
They were nice.
Shout out to Los Cabos from Nakawick, New Brunswick, I think. It's near Fredericton.
Yep, Meduktik is where Sabian's made.
But not where duct tape is made.
I think it's pronounced Meduct tape.
Maybe they make duct tape. Who knows?
Where'd you find my duct tape?
Yeah, shout out to Emily Gallant. Thank you so much.
Shout out Matty D.
Yeah,
Shout out Matt Trites.
Matthew Trites.
Shout out Andrew Moore.
Andrew fucking Moore.
John McLaren.
Yeah, shout out Brittany McLaren as well. Also shout out to Willie. All right, let's get into some more fucking jams. We only got 25 minutes. Let's go.
You want to play? Of course you can. Absolutely. 100%.
Sorry, I didn't want to stop the jam.
I was like, everybody stops.
You're good at bass, though. I have to admit. Goldfish has some skill in the bass. I mean, drum and bass just go good together.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, I can't play guitar, but like, oh god.
What's what, like keys? You want to play bass? You're tired of the bass? Like keys?
Oh, give it a shot, fuck it.
Probably a little loud. Yeah. So, we're on octave right now. This is octave.
Hey, it's Jamstrumental 86 Dopamine edition. Thank you so much for tuning in with us this week. Broadcasting live here, Moncton, New Brunswick, Canada. Shout out to Noah Arseneault, shout out to Mason Wilkins, shout out to Isabelle LeBlanc, shout out to Emily Glenn. Thanks so much for tuning in this week. We do this every Tuesday. Just get together, make a bunch of notes, sound like music and stuff, so it's fun. Are you having a good time? Good time. Yeah. Having a good time. Oh yeah. Having good time. Yeah. Oh. Good time. Good time. Good Goldfish. Adam Gould. Zac Rouselle. Arseneault. LeBlanc. Manuel. Merci beaucoup tout le monde. Less than 1 minute.
That's dopamine for you. Holy shitballs.
Yeah. Well, I got the delay going here. You probably can't hear in here, but
Shout out to Manuel, the new jammer tonight.
fuck yeah. Ripped it up tonight. Thank you so much. Nice meeting you. All right, that concludes the musical segment of the podcast. We're going to get into the talk show podcast segment since it's 11 o'clock. Yeah, we're
Time
going to.
flies when you're having fun.
But we'll be back next Tuesday. So stay tuned for that.
And make sure to go check out John McLaren on Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
This Thursday and Friday at the Tate House in Shediac. So make sure to check out John McLaren if you haven't heard him already. He's a beast.
Yeah, check them out.
Shout out Mason Wilkins.
Yeah, show.
Noah Arseneault. Isabella LeBlanc. All the homies. Tony 420.
Yeah, Tony 420, shout out.
Major shout out to the El Nook Lounge.
Yeah.
And Dan Cote. All the fucking peeps. Much respect. Respect. Oh yeah, and shout out to the fucking champ, L. Jack, Brandon Brewer. Three-time Canadian champion, boxer. Shit.
Oh, shit, I got a little sweaty tonight, that's for sure. Maybe it's all the dopamine.
Oh yeah, it must be.
I had some Wendy's right before Jamstrumental tonight. And I mixed a little bit of Cuban rum in with the Wendy's Coke. So.
Okay. Right. I heard Wendy's Coke is the best. This Classified fucking hoodie means a lot to me, man. Shout out to Classified, one of the most established MCs this area's ever seen. Enfield, Nova Scotia. Check them out if you haven't heard. I love Lamp.
Lamp is cool. Yeah, anybody got some announcements or anything? That sort of stuff going on? Any shows coming up? Oh, Goldfish looks like he has some announcements.
Yeah, got a few shows coming up in the next few weeks. Let me whip out my schedule, actually, because I fucking forget all that. Too many shows, too many bands, but I love it. Where the fuck's my schedule? There it is.
Omnivide's got a new track out. Or you guys are getting ready to record some new material, right?
Well, I guess I'll start with that.
There you go.
Yeah, Omnivide, we're. I don't know if I'm supposed to fully say this yet, but we're
Breaking
gonna be
news.
releasing a single very soon.
Yes.
So, and then the album will be coming in the new year pretty shortly.
Sounds like
after,
it could be
so.
pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Is that going to be a brutal album?
Yeah, there's some brutal parts
brutal-
for sure. It's definitely a super technical album.
Awesome,
Super
awesome,
progressive and
awesome.
super intense album musically.
Awesome.
And then I got the Ibex show coming up as well in Halifax in the new year, or like on December 30th.
Nice.
So we have Orchid's Curse and Discord next Friday here in Moncton, I believe. Or sorry, Saturday actually. Nope, Friday.
So next Friday in Moncton?
Next Friday in Moncton.
I'll
Where
be
you guys
doing
playing?
sound for that too.
Or
At
actually,
the Cavo, probably?
fuck, I'm high. I have Halifax as both in my schedule right now, but I think it's Halifax Friday and then Zeros on Saturday.
I'm laughing because of the I'm high comment. It was just like, fuck.
And on the 23rd, Thursday night, if you guys
Dopamine.
want to come check out Nick Neo, I'm going to be drumming for them as well. And it's completely different type of drumming for me. It's like pop drumming, so
Hey, where's that at?
that's at Zeros as well.
Okay, cool.
So I'm going to be at Zeros a few days.
I
that
saw a
weekend.
poster at the liquor store for that.
Yeah, I'm drumming for Nick Neo for that. And then Omnivide in St. John at the Panic Room on the 1st of December. And then Omnivide in Halifax on the 2nd of December. And that's pretty much what I got for shows. Yeah.
Sweet. I'll be doing sound for the Zero show too.
Hell yeah.
So that's gonna be a lot of fun. So we got Omnivide and we've got no, not Omnivide. What show was at the Zeros again? I'm high.
It's the Discord one.
Oh yeah, the Discord. That's what I thought. Yeah, yeah.
Discord and Nick Neo at Nick Neo on the 23rd, and then Discord on the 24th of December at Zeros, and then Omnivide at the Panic Room in St. John on Saturday the 24th, and Halifax the 23rd. Or maybe it's the opposite. I need to check. But yeah, that's basically what I got right now.
Yeah, Panic Room. That's good shit.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Yeah, if you haven't checked it out yet, the Moon Tune single has been out for a few weeks now, Elephant Wizard. And then we also have the Ibex Irrefutable Weight EP that came out a few weeks ago as well, on the same day as the Moon Tune single. So if you're interested in checking that out, check it out. Moon Tunes, we have 2 drummers, and that whole album was recorded with 2 drummers. We did the first like bed tracks for it, recording both drums, bass, and piano at the same time. So you get a really nice live feel for the whole thing, because that was the bed tracks and everything had to be recorded on that. No click tracks, just raw, recorded on tape, and 2 drums. It's fun stuff. Yeah, thank you.
I got nothing to say.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming out, Alex.
Anytime, cheers.
That was great.
Oh yeah.
You gonna have to say something?
Yeah, we got
Good night, everyone.
See everybody. Take care.
Have a good night, Alex.
See you later, Alex.
Check out his band, Make Sense Limited, featuring him, Kevin Jean, and Maxence Cormier. Members of Hotesse de Hilaire, Secret Agent, Swift Kicks, Secret Agent, Rocket Culture,
Hell yeah.
Leather Jackal. What other bands did Maxence have going on there?
There's a lot of them.
Yeah. I'm like, I need to get versed so much in other local scenes than metal scenes, to be honest with you guys. I know like Les Hôtesses d'Hilaire, but I haven't really checked out like everything else that was named there. But I'm gonna have to make myself a playlist and check that out in there. That's what happens when you basically just listen to metal all the time.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. There's a lot of music in Moncton. Yeah, thanks a lot, Adam
Cheers.
Gould. Check him out. Heavyweight Voice on Instagram.
Anybody want this?
Solid Gold Promotions.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you, Zach. Nice meeting you, Emmanuel. First timer. All right. Big thank-
But that's all, folks.
But I guess it's
All right.
going to be a short one tonight.
Yeah, that was a good podcast tonight there. Thanks a lot for tuning in.
Cheers. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Tonight was pretty much my first time jamming on guitar, not in my room by myself. So
Yeah, that was
it was
sweet.
a fun time. Pretty good. Thank you. It was definitely took a sec for me to just kind of like let loose, but yeah, it was fun. Gotta do that more often.
Yeah, it was fucking cool, man. I didn't even realize you played bass or guitar until last week, I think.
Yeah, because basically I only play drums in live bands, but I don't know. I just drums are definitely like my main instrument, so that's the one that I like that I like playing with the most.
Must be nice to like switch it up though, I guess a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. And like at home, for a while I was basically playing more bass and guitar than I was like actually drums, just because it's just such a fun instrument to play on your own, right? Like like the melodic aspects of them type thing that you can get kind of with drums. Like there's definitely some what do you want to call it, like expression that can come out in the way you're playing and your dynamics and everything, but definitely you don't have the same control over such a wide range of tones, I guess.
Yeah, at drums you gotta like kind of set them up more. You gotta be in a specific location. Guitar you can kind of move around a little bit easier.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Tuning drums is fun.
Yeah.
It's my favorite part. That's why I never do it.
Nice. Yeah, I noticed a lot of drummers can't even tune. Not saying that you can't tune, but a lot of drummers come in and they don't know how to tune their drums.
Yeah, like I can kind of do it. Like I kind of just loosen everything as soon as I get on. If I get on a kit and I don't like the way it sounds, I'm basically gonna like just loosen all of the lugs,
Nice.
and then I'm gonna finger tighten them all around, and then just kind of try to set it up like going like a star pattern,
Okay.
and just kind of like 1 1 1 1 1 1, and then just like hit it. It's like do I like it higher? Then go like that. Just trying to like raise it evenly, and then like I'll hit around and kind of listen, see if I can make it match. But I'm definitely not the best at it there. Like if there's like a bad resonance or something, I have trouble getting rid of it.
Yeah, like getting the resonant head, trying to figure out what to do with that sometimes.
Yeah.
I'll usually kind of get it kind of finger tight, and then I'll put my fist in it, get the wrinkles out,
Yeah. Yeah, I do that too. Yeah. Yeah.
do the crisscross
Yeah.
toony thing.
Yeah.
Try to get it as low as possible, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something about low toms, like when toms are tuned low, they just sound so impactful. Like, I find most music, like, it benefits from having not so much, basically not having the toms raised too high. There's only, like, jazz that always has, like, toms just, like, stupidly high for some reason.
Yeah. Bing, 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 bing.
It kind of works though. When you hit
Yeah.
that softly, I guess it's like really just like to get some note out of it there. So
Kind of more resonant too, I find.
yeah. Whereas like if you're hitting like a low tom and you're hitting it super soft, like with a brush, it's probably not gonna really propagate as well there. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I suppose it's got to be more sensitive almost.
yeah,
If it's tuned lower, probably couldn't hear it as much.
yeah. That's my theory on it right now.
Yeah, it makes sense. Especially like a lot of that stuff's been kind of unmiked usually.
Yeah. In a club there, just trying to do like in a club and just trying to like not be too loud so people can still like not a club but like a dining room. Not try not to be too loud so people can like
Yeah.
still enjoy their food and everything. I've played a gig like that with Moon Tunes once, and it was interesting because the room, like at first when we started playing, we were like really making sure to play like kind of soft and just not go too loud, not to annoy everybody. But then we kind of noticed that like everybody in the room was just fully starting to pay attention to us and just like staying there, not getting annoyed by it. So we gradually started bringing the volume up, and then by the end of the set, we were pretty much like hitting like full volume. And it was like a tiny fucking like almost Plan B sized bar there.
Was that when you were two drummers in it?
No, that one was only with me actually. That was like a gig because since Marty lives in Montreal, we don't exactly get to do all our gigs with two drummers because sometimes it's just not worth like the drive or whatever for like just like a weekend gig or something. So we try to like get the two drummers for the gigs that are like the most important, I guess. Not that all gigs aren't important, but like there's definitely some priorities that need to be established when you're like in a 3 province band because we have some people in like Mig and Munn live in Halifax, and then Marty and Jer live in Montreal, and the rest of us are here in Moncton.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
How many is in the band now?
We're 7.
Okay.
Yeah, the math checks out. We're 7. Yeah.
So you really got to plan out your shows.
Yeah.
Do you play in Montreal much?
Yeah, we've played in Montreal a few times there. Or, well, actually, I say that. We only played with Montreal once with Moon Tunes, but I have with other bands as well.
Oh, nice.
Discord mainly. And, but we are having a lot of shows planned for the upcoming year in Montreal and in
Sweet.
Quebec and stuff there. So yeah, it's pretty sick. I wish I could announce some specific ones I want to shout out right now, but I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to say them, so I'm not going to say them right now. But we do have some like cool shows lined up.
Nice.
There,
Different bands and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so Discord's kind of ramping up there too, eh?
Yeah, we're playing a lot more shows again. We've been slowly getting back into it there. and we've been ironing out parts that we had never taken the time to iron out before, which is cool. Like we there's like some parts that were always just kind of like, I listened to the album to learn the songs, and that's kind of just how I learned them. And then we started playing them, and we kind of just went along with what was like done. But there was always like these little sections of little things like, what the fuck are you actually doing there, Luke? Or like, what's this part supposed to be? What's this timing? Whatever. Sometimes some parts are just kind of like feeled out, and it's like, it feels fine. But now, like, we're actually taking the time to be like, okay, this specific part right here, I feel it's always like sloppy. Like, what should we like? What is it supposed to be? And like, it's nice that we're finally ironing out that kind of stuff there. And who knows? Maybe we'll get together and actually write some stuff and work on another album. I would definitely be down. But right now, we just have like little ideas written here and there. Somebody comes up and is like, I have this riff. Like, yeah, cool. And we jam on it a little bit, but then we end up just rehearsing for the shows we have coming up instead of working on stuff. So,
Probably got a good amount of material now.
yeah, a little bit there. I'd say like we probably have like 3 or 4 songs worth of stuff. So we could do maybe
Like
an
new
EP.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. We also have like almost like
Trying to think how many albums you guys put out.
3. We have 3 albums and 1 EP.
Okay.
And so we have like almost like 3 hours worth of music because every album's like around like 50 minutes.
What's the longest set you guys played, do you think?
I think the longest set we played would have been like an hour and 15 minutes, like something like that. Or sorry, actually no, we played a stupidly long set last year. Actually, now that I think about it, we played a show in Salisbury, and it was like a private party for like some girl. It was her birthday, and her mom felt bad that she couldn't come see our show because she's underage type thing. So like her parents actually like contacted us and wanted us to do a show like in their area and stuff, and they asked us if we could do 3 hours of music.
Oh, wow.
And we were just like, holy shit, like I don't think people want to listen to 3 hours worth of Discord, like after 45 minutes it's already like, all right, like I've been yelled at enough type thing, right? But we ended up basically doing like an hour-long set and then like another hour-long set of covers. Like just,
Okay, yeah. I was wondering if you were tossing some covers in there.
Exactly. So we did like some Metallica and Slayer and
sweet.
like Megadeth and like all that good stuff. Some death songs here and there too. Yeah.
That'd be a bit of a marathon.
Yeah,
like just like how fast you guys play.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like I guess that's the thing when you're used to it, right? Like when we jam, we usually do the set a few times, and like we sometimes like when we're really working on a new song, it can be like the most intense song, like super endurance wise, and you're just still fucking like, all right, let's do it again. All right, let's do it again. Like sometimes you do it like almost like 10, 12 songs, 12 times there, like.
Oh wow.
And then you're just like, okay, like I'm pooch for today. That's that's enough.
You just kind of go till you tap out.
yeah, basically. It's fun though.
Must be a long jam.
Oh yeah. Usually jams are like 3 hours.
Oh, 3 hours, yeah. Just like get straight to it then.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, basically like we usually like set up and then like we just kind of like do a little like warm up of just kind of jerking off on our instruments, just fucking
Sweet.
just like whatever the fuck, like, and then eventually it's like everybody's just like, all right, are you warmed up? It's like, yeah, my fingers are kind of warmed up and my hands. It's like, all right, let's do the set. And that's usually how it goes.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And then if we have some specific stuff we're working on, we'll like go over those parts again. But in general, there's a lot of at-home practice that happens. Like our sets are more rehearsals than they are jams there. And that's why it's like I like coming here for jams because it's like I do get to do jams sometimes, but they're just not as frequent as like back in the day when I used to jam like every weekend with my buddies and stuff,
Yeah.
And just like seeing what the fuck comes out, nobody knows, just start playing a beat, start playing a riff, start playing, and then see where it goes. It's a very fun time.
Yeah. It's kind of it's fun to kind of just do whatever for the whole night.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's like usually I'm kind of like when we rehearse, we usually kind of just go through the songs pretty much.
Yeah. I think that's normal. Like, I mean, if you're a band, you have your songs and they're written it's definitely very important to rehearse them together and to really iron out like the specific little details, right? Because the little details are pretty much what, like, how good your song is gonna be, how good your song is gonna sound. Really, it's how much you work on the tiny details, in my opinion. And like the tiny details can be like anything from, you know, the technical aspect of how you're playing it, you know, what's your, like, how are you applying your fingers or the pressure and stuff like that, all the way to like how are you feeling the part, you know, like how are you letting yourself go with it, like are you like super robotic about it, or are you like just really letting yourself go with it, and you know, like all sorts of aspects. And sometimes you want it to be robotic, you know, if you're doing some kind of like weird like staccato part or something there, you really want it to be like fucking like you know,
Yeah.
like those parts. So it's kind of learning when and how to apply all these things, because at the end of the day, nothing's really wrong. It just depends, like, what was your intent, what was your message, you know, what are you trying to put out there? I guess in a sense, right?
Yeah, I guess it's usually either for me it's usually either a recording session, maybe like a jam mostly session, or maybe throw in like a few like songs or whatever, or mostly just rehearsal, I think.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, what you got going right now?
Just Ross Cola pretty much, and with Noah Arseneault and Mason Wilkins.
Yeah, nice.
We just kind of jam here, usually Wednesdays in the evening. We're gonna do like afternoon jam this Thursday, I think, though.
Okay, yeah.
So kind of be fun to kind of get more into afternoon jams, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like yeah, you get more time, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to stop at 11. Yeah, because actually, like a few weeks ago, I got I got like my first like noise complaint for like my electric kit at home, or at my apartment there.
Oh shit.
Like it's fine now. They're like, I worked it out and everything, but for like a whole year living there, I never had any issues. And sometimes I would jam like on my electric kit till like 11. You know, just really doing no like and I don't even turn on my electric kit when I play. I mainly just use it like as a practice pad. So I don't really. It's literally just I hit hard.
Oh yeah, you don't even do the headphones, or you usually just run it like the speaker.
Well, usually I'll have headphones if I'm gonna be actually playing through something, like just like a song I'm learning or something like that. I'll put headphones in then, but usually like when I'm playing, I kind of just like imagine a song in my head, I guess, in a sense, or like just like jam out with myself to a certain extent. And I find that listening to the acoustic hits you get on the electric kit gives me a better feedback and a better feel on my playing than if I tried to like turn on the electric kit and listen to like the triggers, and because you can set the sensitivities and everything and they can be pretty damn good, but it's never gonna be like exactly, or at least I haven't found an electric kit yet that's like exactly gonna feel like a normal one, right? So
Yeah, I know some more at the rolls usually.
yeah, because the rolls are gonna sound super like, like compared to everything else there. It's like,
Kind of set your dynamic levels on it too, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And you can set them, but I guess that's kind of what's cool also about doing that, because it kind of forces you to learn how to adapt your hits, you know? Like, if you play on an electric kit and you want it to sound good, you need to make sure that you're really hitting at, like, the same volume or, like, more controlled than if you're playing on an acoustic drum kit.
Huh.
Because really what's happening is that, like, the sensors pick up, like, they pick up in, like, in, like, increments, I guess, in a sense. Like, there's essentially, like, usually you have, like, 126 values, like 126, I think it's like 8 bits, or I'm not sure exactly. But usually, like, the MIDIs it sends, like, your velocity, like, how hard you hit from 1 to 20 to 125.
Okay.
Right? Or 0 to 125. So basically those are all the possible velocities that you can have. Right? So like I don't know exactly how like how it's engineered in the thing in like the module, but I know that like electronically what's happening is that probably like when you hit very soft it's going to be like when there's no hit it's like a value of like pure 0, and when you hit very soft it's like a value of like 0.00001, and then and basically or like 1 and all the way to 126 when it's like maxed out, like you've hit the peak of what it can handle. That's like 126.
And then it just kind of like stop. Like it just doesn't sound any different when you hit it after a certain.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't get that like full like intense hit that you would get on an acoustic hit because there's a limit to what the sensor is able to transmit, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a computer value, and that computer value has a limit of
Yeah, that's crazy. to think
126,
about,
right?
Yeah.
So
Just caps out.
yeah, so that's it. That's why you get like a little bit of clipping sometimes, like you know, like I guess it's
Yeah.
the same thing happens even with acoustic instruments. It's just it's not really a value of like 0 to 126. It's that it can handle an like a signal up to a certain point, but if you go beyond what it can handle, then you like pop the tube or you know.
Yeah.
So that's like kind
Break the skin or something. I
yeah
guess.
yeah
I
exactly.
guess if you're
right?
playing with rubber pads, they probably can handle more.
yeah
Maybe.
yeah like at the end of the day, what it is that you have like the sensor that's like placed on like some kind of surface, like usually a flat surface. You have your sensor, and then you'll have like the rubber coating just on top of that. Like the sensor is usually right in the middle, and then like the rubber pad is just all around. And what happens when you hit that, it just jiggles that little piezo sensor, and that piezo sensor, depending on it's an electrical component that when it gets it detects any kind of movement or like any kind of like a hit or anything, it sends an electrical signal based on that level or like on how hard it was hit and what it sends, and that has a cap. Eventually, if you it's a tiny piece of metal, so if you smash that hard enough, you're gonna break it. Or,
And it must be like a really like this. The signal that it would just be all attack. There'd probably be no
yeah,
resonance at it all because it's just a rubber pad.
yeah, exactly. Like rubber pads or mesh is the same idea. Mesh usually they'll put like the sensor in a little triangle foam on top, and the foam is touching the mesh head.
Oh, foam's touching
So
it.
yeah,
Like a medium kind of density foam or something like that.
Yeah. So the foam absorbs like the impact so that it doesn't like destroy the piezo, but like the foam will like basically, you hit the cymbal, it's gonna push down on the foam, and then and the foam is transferring the energy from the hit to the piezo sensor, and then that sends the signal to the computer brain of the module, and then the module triggers the sound that you have it set to. And then there's like gains and stuff you can adjust in there. So like you can be like, oh, how sensitive do I want this trigger to be? What threshold do I want it? Because you can also set them so that if you don't hit hard enough, they're not going to trigger. So that you put a threshold and like, yeah, it's all.
Interesting. Yeah, I never really thought about like the physics of like the rubber or the mesh pads and how that varies to like how an acoustic skin would move because like a acoustic kit like it's gonna resonate or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it's still kind of like similar. At the end of the day, it's all still physical. Like even electricity is physical to a certain extent. It's just like it's just that like instead of being the actual skin that's producing the sound or like the skin and the drum, the hit just the energy gets transferred to that little sensor, and that sensor sends the information from 0 to 125 for what sound or you want. And like I say 0 to 125, but there's like multiple channels, right? So there's like you can like it can detect like there's algorithms and stuff that will detect like not only how hard you hit, but like which one you hit. How it'll detect like how hard you hit, but like some of them are actually so smart that like they'll detect if you hit more to like the side of it,
Like
depending.
like on different.
Yeah. Like they'll put like a
Yeah.
separate piezo like on the rim or something a little bit.
Yeah, so like where you could do like rim shots and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
But like yeah, I guess like probably like some of the newer fancier ones, they like different parts of the skin will
Yeah.
trigger. Must be like multiple triggers or something.
Yeah.
Than those ones.
Usually it's two, because like once you have two, you can like kind of like what it does is that you have your middle piezo and then you have like your side piezo, and then like if you hit the skin and it's not exactly in the center, there's gonna be like more. There's gonna be like more energy going towards the rim. I guess.
Yeah.
Well, so like it's gonna sense it more in the rim one, and because everything's like on a timer in a computer, right? So it'll detect like how much force at this millisecond was on this value, and then depending on exactly at that moment in the computer clock, like it can like there's algorithms that they have that are just so genius that can detect like, oh, like I know that this was closer to the rim, so I'm gonna generate like a slightly higher noise, or I'm gonna do like a rim shot if it was really, really on the rim, like really close and stuff, and it's actually very impressive, like when you think about it, like the engineering that goes behind that.
Yeah, shit. Like I wonder how many samples they'll use just for like one setting of a snare on it,
Yeah.
or if like how much of it's just volume. It'll be the same sample, but they'll just change the volume of it versus having different samples for different volumes, or having random samples for the same velocity, so you get some variance if you're hitting the same.
Yeah. It's like it's all depending on how you route it basically, because you can take that signal and you can kind of guide it just wherever you want. And if you're starting to lose power somewhere, it's like the signal's not strong enough to continue transferring, you can put a buffer on it and it just continues until basically you run out of power.
like a buffer for the
For like the signal, for like the actual like when you hit the signal that's like going somewhere type thing.
Okay.
Because what happens with like electrical signals is like you won't generally deal with that for like tiny modules and stuff, but over time, like it loses energy along, like you have like your cable, right? Your electrical cable. Well, on that, it's electrons that are jiggling generally.
Mhm.
And like think of like a rope, how you like jiggle that, and like it kind of gets wavy, right? But when you stop like sending something, eventually it dies down, right?
Yeah.
Because like you're not transferring any more energy to it,
Okay.
right? And it's like kind of like the same concept with like maybe this example makes more sense. Let's say you have a rope and you start jiggling it, right? You'll see the wave, and like the closer you are to like where you have your rope attached, the better it's gonna transfer, right? But if you start lengthening the cable, you get really far and you try to send that wave, eventually the wave that's generated from your movement with the rope is gonna die down over time, right?
Okay.
So like the same thing happens with an electrical signal as well, because
Would that
you
be considered
lose energy.
resistance or something, or
Yeah,
or
yeah.
would it be different than resistance?
Well, it would be considered like it would be lost through heat generally,
Okay.
because you have like the electrons jiggling, and when it's jiggling, it's energy. You know, it's jiggling, it's energy. So over time, that energy needs to go somewhere. It's like one of the laws of the universe, as far as like we know, anyways, is that like energy like has to go somewhere. It's like if you have energy, like it's not just gonna disappear. It's gonna transfer to something else. And a lot of times, when electrons are going through a line, there's friction between them, which causes heat, causes heat loss, and like also when a signal goes through a line, if the line has any sort of resistance, which it does, or impedance, you also lose power because of that. Like a current going through resistance has to like push through it. I guess that's kind of the way I think about it. And then the energy, it loses energy, as it goes through, because you get power loss along the line there. And if like your signal that you're sending at one end is cut off and you keep pumping more signal into it, that's just more heat that's accumulating more power, and then eventually the power can start going back at the source, and then you can that's how you can
it'll cause like a backfeed if there's too
Yeah.
much resistance, or
or for example, if your signals if you have an electrical cable and you're holding it up to the air, like the air is almost acting like if it has like a resistance value of infinity, because it's just like the power is not really gonna go anywhere. It's like it can't really transfer through the air unless you put a lot of power, and then you can, because there's gonna be
make some
electrical
coils or
fields,
something.
and they can, like electrical fields and magnetic fields can overlap on each other, and you can actually like send signals. Well, you can actually. Well, I mean, like, I'm speaking so much about nerdy stuff, but yeah,
That's
like,
awesome.
like how could I say this? Basically, if you have enough electrical force for like enough of an electrical field for it to be a quicker path for the electrons to travel through the air, even with that high ass resistance that it has, that's when you'll get like, thunder, or like a bolt,
Arcing.
basically. Exactly. Yeah, that goes through.
Plasma, right?
Yeah.
I guess that's like, is that like considered the
Yeah.
fourth state of matter?
Yeah, something like that there. But like, you need a lot of power. It needs a lot of electrical accumulation there at that point. Like, basically, like a lot of electrons are just accumulating at one end, and the force is starting to get like, it's kind of like you're squeezing a balloon or something, and then you're watching from one end, and then you're watching the other end, like, blow up more until eventually it pops and just
Okay, yeah.
launches.
I'll follow the path of least resistance.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's basically what electrons do. They follow the path of least resistance.
So like it'll just build up like heat, and like if it doesn't have the pathway to go, or like
Like, it just builds up energy, I guess. Like, it's
But-
like
but not
or
like-
power.
okay, is that kind of how like a capacitor works in a way a little bit? Or?
Yes, actually.
Okay.
Basically the way a capacitor works is that you have like an electrical material, like you have like, usually you have two electrical like the simplest one is two electrical materials that's separated by a dielectric material. And a dielectric material is basically the opposite of electric. So like, an electric material is like a conductor, or sorry, you'll have like two conductors and a dielectric, basically. So like, a conductor conducts electricity. A dielectric material does not. So that would be like an insulator, or like so.
We usually use paper, I think.
Yeah, it
Paper.
can be paper, or like anything that basically does not like have a high permittivity. I think no, that's for electrical fields. Anyways, there's some nerds for it. A very high conductance or a low resistance. A material that has like
insulative properties.
yeah,
or like,
an insulator will have a very high impedance, a very high, a very low conductance.
so like friggin'
So basically, a capacitor, you have like your
oh yeah, the dielectric.
your dielectric and the insulator, and then you have your conductive material, your insulating material, and your conductive material, and then you end up basically plugging it to an electrical source. And what happens is that when you're basically have it connected to, like, let's say a battery, the electrons are moving, along the circuit line, but then they get to that part and they can't get through that material because there is no direct path there. Like, it's an insulator, right? So like, it doesn't conduct electricity one end to the other. So basically it ends up accumulating a very strong negative charge on the side with all the electrons, and a pretty low and a very high, like, positive charge on the other side, because the electrons are, like, traveling and basically all accumulating on one side, and then basically, like, that's how it keeps the capacity. So as long as it's connected to like a current and stuff, it'll continue charging, like, and stuff. So that's why some capacitors, you have to be really careful not plug them backwards, because you can actually pop them by putting them on like the wrong side. But yes, it's basically you have like
Okay, so it's kind of like a diode in a way, or like
it's kind of like it's kind of like a diode. But if I understand correctly, a diode is basically like just a positive doped material and a negative doped material put together,
okay.
so that when you pass the electrical current through on the right side of it, it actually since it's a doped material, which means that like it's like the material was removed an electron or was given more electrons, or like if I'm keeping it like simple, basically to dope it more positively and more negatively, the material is still a semiconductor, so it can still conduct. Like it's just that one end of it is doped to be more positive and the other end is doped to be more positive. So when you pass a signal through the negative end, so like the electrons are going to the negative end, it actually like allows it to go through like a oh god, it's been so long since I learned this and I kind of forget exactly what happens. There's a diagram I've seen once that like shows it just so perfectly, but basically it's like when you pass it through the right side, it's actually gonna dope the whole thing as negative, and then the signal's just gonna go through, and then but if you put it the other way, it won't. It will actually cause the material to actually get even more polarized, so it'll be even more positive and even more negative on one end. So instead of having a material that's more equalized and negative that it goes through, it just becomes even more polarized, and then the electrical signal just won't go through. So that's what diodes are really made to do. They're made to allow the signal to go one way but not allow it to go the other way. And LEDs, luminant light diodes, are basically just diodes that emit light at the same time when the current goes through them in the right direction. So
they use like a semiconductor, I guess, right? Is it
yeah,
like kind of like like silicone or something?
Yeah, it's all semiconductors, because semiconductors are you can dope them, and basically that's like back in like I'm gonna call them the Stone Age of electronics. Everything was like giant machines. Like the first computer was like an entire room of a factory type deal, because it was all giant materials. Because you needed to have like your copper to send the signal through, and if you wanted to make a diode, you had to make like a big like you had to have like a big material that was naturally like positive and a big material that was naturally like electrically negative, and like you just couldn't really you can, but it was just more expensive material wise, and you have to like mine those materials and all that stuff. But with semiconductors, since they found ways to dope them, you can basically have the same material and just start like kind of, I'm going to dope this part, this part, this part, to kind of on this one material, you can end up just having like, a positive pathway that you made or a negative pathway that you made. And depending how you make it, you can make it act like transistors, like diodes, like any kind of like material, and that's why like our CPUs and our computer are so goddamn small, and they do all that stuff because inside there it's a bunch of diodes, resistances, all that stuff, but it's all made through just little microscopic doping, basically.
That's crazy.
Whereas like back in the day, you would need to have like like the physical. I don't know if you must have seen transistors before, like physical transistors, little black boxes there that you put like on a circuit or something.
Yeah. But like with the transistor, I wonder if it's like a similar. Those are doped as well.
Yes.
Speaking of dopamine.
Yes. Yeah, actually, dopamine doped. Yeah. So the transistor is essentially a diode, but the difference is that it's generally, there's a lot of different types of transistors, but the basic ones they're still based on a N-type and a P-type material, which N-type is a negative doped semiconductor, and a P-type is a positive doped semiconductor. And a transistor is basically, instead of just having the two of them together, so you have your N-type and your P-type, you have either a P-type and then an N-type and then a P-type sandwiched together, or an N-type, P-type, N-type sandwiched together.
Okay.
And all three of those ends, like the three ends, are connected to your circuit. So you have like, usually you have your gate, your source, and your drain. Those are like the 3 pins on the transistors that you have.
The gate is like you apply electricity to it and it kind of opens the gate.
Exactly.
It's like creates like an and or kind of
Yeah. Basically,
thing.
that's pretty much exactly it. Like that's one way. Like one of the main
It
ways.
turns like the
transistors-
semiconductor into a conductor somehow with the
Yeah.
electricity that flows through it to activate it. Or
Yeah,
something?
yeah. So like how I was talking to you about how like you have your doped material for your diode and you send your electrical signal through one end and then it ends up like just activating the diode to allow the electricity to go one way.
Mhm.
The transistor can do the same thing, but in a glorified way, I guess, where you send a small signal to the gate,
Mhm.
and by applying that electrical signal to that gate, that's going to dope the whole thing to allow the signal to go through. So it literally it is used as like when you activate this transistor, you have electricity that goes through it. When you don't, it doesn't. It
Oh.
doesn't, because like basically the way it would be plugged in is you would have like a circuit that you have like a signal that you want to control. You want to be able to send. Let's say I have my drum track. I want to. So I guess I'm gonna. Okay, let's say I have my drum that's plugged into that transistor at the source, right? When I hit that drum, the transistor is basically not gonna allow the signal to go through unless I send a signal to the gate to allow the signal to go through, and then the signal, if it's allowed to go through, will basically come out the drain end of it, the drain end of the transistor.
Oh, and then like your gate, like you could pass more power through it in a way and almost use it like almost as an amplifier kind of thing
Yeah, like
to pass
so,
more voltage from a smaller.
Yeah, so amplifiers with transistors are a bit tougher to explain kind of what happens with them, because it has to do with how power like kind of accumulates in a circuit. But you have your transistor, and if I'm not mistaken, you're not going to be using it the same way as like. So the way I was explaining it a second ago, that would be one application of a transistor where you have like your gate that you allow the signal to go through. But when it comes to like amplifying a signal using a transistor, you basically need to have like your signal going through like one end, and then the polarities are like inverted. Like I'm not sure exactly. I need to see a graph to really explain it, but it essentially, if I recall correctly, it actually will come out from like the gate end of the transistor.
Interesting. It's
Like-
not directional with transistors like it's
Well-
like diodes. It's like they're kind of
Yeah, like diodes, you can only pass the current in one way, right? But the gate transistor, it's not the same. Like the diode is like if the current goes in the right direction, it goes through. The transistor, using it as a gate, we don't care what direction it's going. It's like if I activate the gate, then it'll
more like a
go
light
through.
switch kind of thing.
Yeah,
but it's just like
exactly.
the gate is just like
Yeah, that
you
would,
flicking the switch there, and then
yeah, and that would be like yeah, that's kind of basically like
and you can run analog signal through it.
yeah, exactly. So like some people like you'll hear people on drums they'll use triggers, for example, and they'll use that as a noise gate. So they'll put triggers on their drum so that when the trigger detects a hit and sends the signal to your DAW or whatever you're using, it opens the channel of the mic. Like the mic channel is muted on that tom or whatever.
That'd be a good
And-
way to do it.
Yeah, until it detects the hit and opens the gate for the sound to come in, type thing. It would be kind of like that, a similar concept to that like for allowing, I guess, an electrical signal to go through. Like in that sense, like if I was like
yeah.
to exaggerate it a little bit, that trigger would be connected to like the gate end of the transistor, whereas your microphone would be connected to like the source end, and then the drain end would be like what's connected to like your actual like grid for like what you want to record. So it won't record until the gate gets activated to let the signal go through.
Cool.
Like so that would be like that like they wouldn't do that over just one transistor, but like that would be like that's why I said like a little bit of an exaggerated idea, but like just to kind of get like the concept of like how that would work with that transistor. But for amplifying, I would need to kind of brush up before I can explain that.
Yeah,
one
it
to you,
kind of
'cause
went down a bunch of different rabbit holes.
it took me a while. It's been a while. Like, I mean, for those who don't know, my background is in electrical engineering, even though I don't practice it at all. But I do find electricity fascinating. So.
Oh yeah, me too. I always just kind of messed around with that stuff growing up,
Yeah.
but didn't quite dive as deep as you would have.
Yeah.
Just kind of soldering things and looking
Yeah.
up basic circuits or whatever.
Yeah, it's a lot of diagrams and a lot of math. That's but no, it was fascinating stuff. Like, but yeah, just I remember. It's funny because even like the thing with engineering is that like a lot of times you'll learn the things, but that's not really the important part. The important part is just kind of like learning how to use the tools that you have, like to make something happen, right? So like we learned like in one electrical class how like the transistors work and stuff like that. But then eventually we were just using like op amps that are like basically these like specific little amplifiers made for amplifying the signal and stuff, and basically all our diagrams would be with those little triangles instead of transistors. But inside of those you have like a shitload of transistors that are basically making that happen. And then logic circuits that are basically like your, what do you call it? Like logic circuits are basically like the base of everything when it comes to like transmitting signals and computers and everything. And even those are like, they're based on transistors and like putting transistors together in specific patterns to send your signal. But when we were learning that stuff, we weren't learning it at the transistor level. We were just learning it at like the AND gate, OR gates, and you know all that stuff. So it's like an AND gate. It's like you need to have both signals sending at like inside your signal to allow the signal to go through. An OR gate is if one or the other is activated, then it goes through. A NAND gate with an N, it's an AND, but with an N is it won't allow it to go through unless both are inactive. And an XOR is like the opposite of an OR gate. Like it inverts the signal. So you have like the OR, it's one or the other will let the signal go through, but that means that no signal's coming out because it'll invert it. So if you don't have both going in, like at the end of the day, so if you have either both signals going in or both are not going in, is going to be sending a value of 0 and then inverting that to a value of 1. So like, they all have like the specific applications for when you'd want those gates, I guess. But
so like four different kinds of gates typically in a like a
yeah, but there's more too. There like those are just like the ones I can think of. There's also like the inverter. So like if you send a 1, it shoots out a 0.
Okay.
It just gives you the exact opposite signal. There's like there's the NAND, the NOR, the XAND, the XOR, the AND OR, and also you can have like and like those signals. It's not just 2. Like you can have like an AND gate that's like 50 signals, and like all 50 of them need to be on for it to go on, or else if one of them isn't on, it's not going to send a signal. It just really depends on like what you're trying to create and engineer, I guess, you know, depending on the application and stuff. But it can be fun to mess around with. But usually those, you know, you do them on like a computer or like there's like programs that like you can kind of like program your circuit, and then it'll create a breadboard. Like a breadboard is basically like a circuit board, a schematic for you out of that, if it's possible. Like it'll try a bunch of patterns like through its algorithms and everything. But generally if not, it'll basically like recommend like, oh yeah, like try changing this, or like I don't know, like it's
So you can do like a virtual breadboard on the computer.
yeah, and then you can send that off to get printed by a factory and like have like that
Oh.
breadboard. But otherwise, you can you can buy one of those like electrical breadboards that are like the ones you have like in school and stuff, where it's like you plug in your wires physically and all that stuff, and you can make transistors just by routing just like all a bunch of cables together with resistances and stuff like that, as well as just when it comes to like electrical components, they're basically just like you take those massive circuits and you just have them in a tiny little component, basically. So it saves space and saves time. And with everything getting like so tiny over the years, that's how we managed to get to this crazy technology we have now, where we can, like just 20 years ago, like we could only have like 4 gigs of RAM on our computer, and that was considered like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Now people have like fucking like 256,
Like 64 like K RAM or something.
yeah.
Like
back
in the day.
way back in the day, yeah. And like
somehow they were able to run a computer on that.
yeah. And it's like it's so wild, like how like the technology and the understanding and like precision of our our machines are able to like really precisely make these tiny little paths and stuff in these materials. But now we've gotten to a point where we've gotten so small with our electrical circuits, and we've gotten to that point where like we've gotten so small to be so fast and everything, that we're actually running into quantum issues now.
Yeah.
So like they can't actually get smaller anymore, because otherwise you can't predict the state that your bit is going to be in, because the computer is just so small.
It's
So-
probably like interference issues too, or like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, exactly. Like so many things that can go wrong there. So now it's like they're basically we're almost like at an end for like how fast, with the current materials and understandings of technology and everything that we have now, it's like almost as fast as it can get. But I'm sure some people are gonna figure something out eventually.
Well, I see like I heard something about like analog computing, how it's starting to make a comeback with analog computing.
Interesting. I'll have to check that out. I'm not sure exactly what that would be.
Yeah.
Like
I guess it's like kind of stuff that's been kind of around for quite a while, but like I guess like the digital kind of stuff took over for a while.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can see that. Because like analog would be, at the end of the day, a lot of our technology is just adding a computer to make things fancier for something that might not even really need a computer.
It could use less energy potentially with the
Yeah.
analog computer.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's you're not like powering all that. It depends on the application, of course, and like what it is. Like at the end of the day, like a fan is a fan. It's spinning a shitload. So whether you're powering that with like a transistor, or like with something else, like it's gonna take a lot of energy type thing if it's like electrical, right? But
I guess it depends on the efficiency and the heat loss. Like if you're running a gas engine, wouldn't be as maybe efficient
yeah,
as a electric motor to run that fan.
yeah, it all depends on how well the power can transfer, how well the energy transfers, really. Because like if you have like, you can have a very efficient gas powered something if most of the energy from the explosions of the gas are going towards like the whatever it is you're powering, right? Like generally, like most power is just something spinning, like a turbine and stuff. Like all our power plants are basically finding ways to make stuff explode to make a turbine spin with the energy from that. And then that's connected to a motor. And the thing about motors is that not only do they generate energy, but they can also harness energy. All you need to do is plug them backwards.
Yeah.
And then if you spin the rotor is going to create a magnetic force, and that magnetic force is going to get taken by the stator, which is the surrounding of the motor. And then that's going to send the energy through an electrical signal the other way, basically. And
It's kind of crazy, like even with like nuclear stuff, like or
Yeah.
most nuclear technologies, it's just heating up steam and
yeah,
and running a turbine or whatever.
yeah, exactly. it's like it's not like a. It's very efficient, but it's still using the same like bare bone technology we've been using for like ever. like,
Then there's
for
the
years.
thermoelectric effect too. They use that on like I think not satellites, but like probes, and
Mm.
they'll just like it's like they'll use some kind of radioactive material, produce heat, and they've got like some kind of I don't think it's really efficient, but like I guess it would produce like a lot of heat, so it could produce a lot of
Yeah.
electricity just through the heat.
Yeah. Yeah, if it can get captured for sure.
You ever see those fans? You put them on like a stove, like a wood stove, and it'll take the heat from the stove, and like somehow it'll power the fan electronically.
Huh. I want to see that. I haven't seen those yet actually.
Yeah.
But that's cool.
Thermoelectric effect, I think, is what it's
Yeah.
called.
Huh. No, it makes. No, I can see that. I can like see that working for sure.
I think that's what powers. What was like the furthest probe that we've sent? Like this.
Voyager 2?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's what powers it.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
And yeah, that would make sense because it's we're not gonna plug it in down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be like super low efficient, but the
Mhm.
the nuclear would make a lot of heat for a
Yeah.
long time, probably.
Yeah, and I guess like if it's got like a lot of solar panels and stuff like that too, like any source of light as well, in a sense, would probably power that as well if you can handle it.
So yeah, I wonder how far like when you start getting like
Like,
past
really far.
Pluto, like
Mhm.
how much solar energy you could
Yeah,
harness at that distance.
yeah. I have no idea honestly.
Well, those solar sails, those seem like an interesting kind of idea.
Yeah, like I mean, it's solar is definitely a source of like power when the sun's out. You know. Like,
Yeah.
it's definitely like a useful one to have, especially for like sunny days and like even honestly for winter. Like I think up here it would be like very useful for us because like usually during winter when we have like our very coldest days, that's when we have the most sun, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
like-
that is true. Yeah.
So like those days, like in a wintry environment, like I can definitely see like or like very cold places. I can definitely see like the solar being pretty useful there, but then I guess it depends also on. Now that I think about it, I forgot to factor in the fact that you get way less sunlight during winter as well, right? So
Yeah, yeah. The
yeah,
sun's at a lower angle, but you
Yeah.
could use. I guess people still do it though.
yeah,
And then there's a type of solar panel that isn't electric, where it just takes the sun and it hits like a black metal kind of thing,
Mhm.
and then air circulates through this black metal duct sort of thing
Mhm.
on the inside, and it's more efficient, I guess, per square foot.
Hmm.
Because I think with like solar panels, what's the efficiency now? Like 20% or for like the good ones or
Yeah,
one?
I'd have to Google it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that does sound pretty much the last that I heard too. There, like around 20%. And I mean, yeah, that's at the end of the day, like when it comes to the most efficient power sources we have, it's really nuclear. Like
Yeah.
it's just, there's just the scary aspect of it, given the disasters that have happened, I guess, in the past, like Chernobyl and 5 Mile Island, or I think that's the name of it. Like there's been like a lot of like near misses as well. for
Yeah,
places,
yes,
right?
we've got really lucky, I guess.
Like but there has been a lot of improvements since then. Like the 80s were bad mainly because people didn't really know how to use a lot of the technology yet as efficiently as we do now. When it comes to like routing signals and everything, they definitely learned how to avoid more disasters at those levels, right? Because like Chernobyl, for example, like it was like very obviously like studied a lot, like a lot of interviews of the people that were there and stuff like that. Like what happened, how did it go so wrong, and stuff like that. And like you know, it can be anything from like mismanagement to like trying to do a test that just like you shouldn't do. I know like 5 Miles Island, I think I don't even know if that's the name of the place, but it's something like that.
So it was a nuclear power plant?
Yeah, in the States, one of them that popped was there was just too many, like, imagine you're like in the 80s, everything's kind of like analog, like, you know, the grid you have there, or like maybe in the 70s, and you just have all these meters everywhere is just going insane on you. Like, which one do you target first? You know what I mean? Like, which
We
button?
wouldn't have any algorithms to detect any sort of
Yeah.
anomalies or.
Yeah, because like there's no like red button that you can just push, or like, or maybe there is, but like there's so many red buttons, you know.
It's just like in a Homer Simpson.
Yeah,
There.
exactly. Right? You push the wrong one, and it's like, did you actually solve it, or did you just cause another problem somewhere else? Right? There wasn't really like an established manual yet, or of like, if this specific thing happens, do that. Like they had some for some things, but like it just wasn't at the level that they have now.
I suppose like airplanes when they first came out, they're a lot more dangerous than they are now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like as like improvements happen, as the technology like improves and understanding, it gets safer over time, right? Like even cars nowadays, like people don't die in car crashes as much as they used to. Like I mean they still do,
Yeah.
but like before it was a lot worse because the cars, like the car would survive the crash, but the driver wouldn't, type deal. Because the cars were made so strong and so sturdy that you'd crash, and the energy would not get, like the energy of you going from, you know, like 100 kilometers an hour to 0 would transfer directly to your body because you're the squishiest part. You're the squishiest part in that vehicle.
No airbags.
Yeah, no airbags and everything, right? So like nowadays, when you crash, your car gets fucking totaled. But that's
Yeah.
because all that energy is transferring to the car now and getting eaten by the car, right? So that by the time that the stopping force reaches you, or I don't know if it'd be stopping force, but whatever the force reaches you, a lot of it's already been dissipated through the car. So the chances of like the damage is significantly reduced on you. Right?
And they can probably make cars with less materials too, like making them more mobile.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like at the end of the day, it's like you.
They got to do more technology on them, though. I guess
Yeah,
now, though.
like if you ever wondered what those crash test dummies and car people like, who just like crash cars and stuff do, like that's basically what they're evaluating. It's like how to make like the best, like the safest, like the best way the car can take the impact instead of the person type thing for those cars and stuff. Because yeah, we just don't want people to die.
Yeah, it's kind of insane how far we've come, and just how much thought has gone into something like that. How many people have been kind of collaborating to come up with these different ways of doing things, and wind tunnels and
Oh yeah.
crash test things, and
Well, you know, it's like cooperation, right, to a certain extent, or like you know, as the nature of research is that, you know, like a lot of it you don't want to reinvent the wheel, right? You kind of want to like learn like how to improve it, you know.
Yeah.
Or, like, so like a lot of research that goes into like pretty much any field is usually based off like you're gonna like look at old studies and old tests and stuff that were done by people, and then you're either gonna try to replicate those results to see, is this true? Like, does this hold water type thing, or is it bullshit? Is it just like somebody that said like, oh, this thing can cure cancer, this thing can do this, but like it doesn't really do it type thing, or
Yeah.
does it really hold water? Is there like actually some holdable evidence? And then if it,
placebo effect.
yeah, well, placebo effect's a big effect also. Like it's, and that's kind of like the thing right now with a lot of like false technologies and false like cures and stuff like that, is that when you really break down, they're not really doing much, but if the person believes that they're doing something, like the brain will actually like the brain will actually like do some magic, make it happen. I don't know. It's like I think the placebo effect's like something that's still not as understood as like people would like to think it is. It's
Yeah.
like because it is like it does affect a lot, like but it also can mislead, I think, a little bit. Like if people say like, "Oh, this worked for me" or whatever, like it doesn't mean it's gonna work for like the next person unless it's actually like proved to work in like every scenario, right?
Or if they were like convincing enough in their story that their placebo, like positive placebo effect experience
Like
caused them to also have a positive placebo
Yeah.
effect experience with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like it's almost better to like not know, I guess, like and just like trust like a doctor or whoever, I guess, in that sense, because like if he tells you it works and you believe it works,
Yeah.
well then like your body's probably gonna like work with you to make it work. Versus if you're skeptical, it might not work. Right? It's but I don't know. It's placebo's interesting. It's very it messes with my brain. It messes with all of our brains.
Yeah. And then there's like the nocebo thing too, like where people like if they think they're having something poisonous and they could like die from it or like go into shock or something.
Yeah, it's like the power of the brain, just like fully acting like if they've actually been poisoned or like actually attacked. So the brain will enter that fight or flight response and like react accordingly. Just like really fucking. Just like really be like, oh my god, I've been poisoned, I'm gonna puke, and then the brain's like, all right, well, it sends the signals to the body, all right, puke, do it up, you're sick. Like you're not actually sick, but like
Some people can kind of bypass that too with
Yeah.
training and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, it's like training and like mental resilience and everything. Like like there is definitely some value in like like all that like training and like meditation and stuff like that too, right? Because like a strong will can help you overcome a lot of things that would be very tough to overcome otherwise.
That's true. Yeah, I think they kind of like study that in medical science, like the effect of the will to live
Mm-hmm.
and how that can affect the results of like a surgery and all that stuff too.
Yeah, yeah. It's like it could be like the difference between like making it on that 1% survival ratio versus the 99% not survival rate. Like
So like the placebo effect could like maybe apply to surgeries as well.
Yeah.
In a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it applies to everything really. It's weird how like our psychology just like really affects everything, right? Like if you chances are like if you're constantly thinking that something's bad gonna happen or something's like I'm not saying it will happen, but you're definitely opening yourself up for more of those negative things to happen, right? Like
Yeah.
and especially like it's kind of like that saying like if you go looking for trouble you're gonna find it, I guess.
Yeah.
If you're actively looking for shitty things, you're probably gonna see them. You're probably gonna find them pretty quickly, right? Whereas like if you're trying to stay positive and like actively more looking for the positive things, you might not pay as much attention to the shitty things.
It has to do with the reticular activation system.
Mm-hmm.
I think like if you're thinking of a car, you'll just see that car all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, what is it? The buggies. The buggies, like when everybody would be like punching each other when they'd see a buggy because like it seemed like everybody's driving like buggies for a reason. They're like,
oh yeah,
or the Beatles or the Volkswagen. Yeah, did you ever hear that? Like,
that's the origin of that there.
Well, basically,
I just remember people just punching me and being like, "Punch buggy."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think basically once that started being a thing, like I started seeing buggies everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because I was like,
they were like a top car for a while, I think, weren't they? Or
probably. There was a lot of them.
but it could also just be the placebo, you
Yeah.
know, or like the thing of me like paying more attention for them because I have been punched and I don't want to be the one being punched. I want to be the one doing the punch.
So it's like a survival aspect. I
Yeah,
guess.
exactly. So like so it could seem like if there's so many more buggies, but it could also be like the same amount of buggies. It's just I notice them more because I'm actively, you know, like I have like an unconscious fucking attention, basically for them, in a sense. You know.
I suppose it could come down to kind of survival if you're out in the woods and you're trying to survive. You're probably not going to care about anything unless it's food or something.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like you're able to like, yeah, you're traveling through the forest and then you see those berries like fucking like a kilometer away and they're just like a tiny brush, but like you're so like used to hunting them and seeing and looking for them that you can spot them or like at least spot like the signs around it. You know,
Yeah.
like you get better at interpreting the environment and stuff the more you're exposed to it. So.
Or like a flower. It's like if you didn't know what a flower, like a certain flower was,
Mm-hmm.
then you know, then you just start seeing it everywhere.
Yeah, or the mushrooms, you know.
Yeah.
Seeing the people finding those mushrooms there to give themselves a good trip there. They started to be able to find them pretty quickly there, knowing exactly where to look and everything. Or even like you know, for survival, like you're starting to notice like people be able to notice and like learn about like which ones are healthy to eat and which ones will kill you. Like,
Yeah, and it's like, like trying to figure out which ones did that. It must like you'd have maybe like a guinea pig in the tribe or something. It's
Yeah.
just like
we all pulled straws there. Or we all pulled pieces of grass there. Come on.
fuck, it's my turn this time. Shit.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, at some point, somebody had to figure it out, you know? Like, that's how a lot of things were figured out. It's like, oh, eat this? No, he's dead. All right, don't eat that. Like,
I wonder how animals kind of do it. Like if they just kind of know that being like pretty short after they're born, what not to get into. Or
yeah, I think it's probably the same kind of thing. Like, they probably just instinctively kind of know, in a sense. Like, from like millions of years of like evolution and like or a lot of them too, like for some berries, like I know that like some animals will have generally like much more acidic stomachs or like their intestines or like their bodies are able to actually like digest those materials that would actually like fuck us over because we got so used to like cooking our food over millions of years and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that as a bad way. Some people will say that as in like, oh, we need to connect back to our roots or whatever. But like, no. Like, there's a reason we started cooking our food, and it was to avoid fucking diseases. But a lot of animals though, like they can just like handle a lot like lower quality or like more dangerous foods and stuff than we can because their bodies have just adapted to being able to
or like
handle
bacteria and stuff.
Yeah.
Like something like eat corpses or whatever. Like that been kind of rotten a little bit.
Yeah, like vultures.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we try to eat that, we're gonna get a lot of diseases real quick. You know, and them it's like fuck yeah, man, it's going to be okay, man. Holy shit, there was another execution here, boys. We're in for a treat tonight. Like, you know, no, it's
Yeah, it's interesting how like the biology would kind of like dictate it too. Just kind of like how like if you want salty food or something like that.
mm-hmm. Yeah, cause like, well, yeah, like we want salty food.
I wonder what like triggers like the salt. Like if you just kind of like I guess if you're stressed more, you might want more salty food. Or I wonder.
Well, yeah, maybe it probably could be something related to that. I mean, at the end of the day, the salt we need it basically just to hold water in us, and like, so if you're sweating a lot, you're losing a lot of that salt as well as the water. So that's why you'd like if you're anxious and you're sweating a lot, then yeah, I could see that being like also kind of causing the hunger for it, but also just satisfying. You know what I mean? Like something that's nice and salty, it's like satisfying to eat. You know,
I don't know,
it
like,
definitely like it feels like a reward for our brains when we're eating it. You know, that nice salty goodness. You know, the chips and stuff there,
yeah.
or fries or whatever.
I find they put way too much salt on fries though, but I think some people add salt to their fries.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it's. I mean, I get it. Like personally, I'm like hell yeah, salt. But I don't do it because I know it's like we already have more than we need in our diets. But like, you know, like what is it, like hickory sticks, for example? Hickory
Yeah.
sticks. Those things are so fucking salty. Like but they're so good. They're so good. But like I can eat like Doritos, or like I can eat like plain chips. I can eat like whatever, like, and you know, I'll have a cup of water and I'll be fine. You know.
Yeah.
But hickory sticks, if I eat a bag of those, like I'm gonna be fucking like eat the whole day.
Yeah, I never got too much into the hickory sticks, but yeah, I like the Doritos a bit sometimes.
Mhm.
But I find I don't eat as much for some reason now. Like I find it's just like so salty. I'll have McDonald's, and then I'll wake up kind of like with a hangover the next day.
Yeah.
Just like I just got to drink a whole bunch of water.
Yeah, I feel that.
But maybe it has to do with like activity level or just stress or.
Mhm.
I was reading some kind of thing that people that are more stressed, their sensitivity to food is lower. Like they need more to taste the food, like more like like sugar or like salt. So their senses are duller, maybe.
Yeah, it could be a thing. That's interesting though.
Different
Yeah.
body chemistries.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end, yeah, because like maybe it's like you know, you're eating, but since you're stressed, you're having trouble. The body has trouble really like kind of like focusing on like really kind of indulging, or like on really like enjoying the food that's eating, or like, you know, really focusing. You know, it's sending a lot more power maybe to like what's stressing you versus like, you know, the food that you're eating at that moment, right?
Oh yeah, like it has to be like kind of powerful to get your attention, I guess.
Yeah,
like kind of
exactly.
like like a comfort food. Like it's like
Yeah, because like like if you're eating it and you're not like actually like acknowledging it, or like really, you know, thinking about it or whatever at that point, like I think that'll be like an indicator of like why you know, like you wouldn't really taste it as much in a sense. But I don't know. Every body's different, right? So
yeah.
and
Yeah, sometimes I've like ate a bunch of stuff and I'm like, did I just eat a whole bunch of food? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know, that I still want more or something. Like,
oh yeah, it's like you eat a whole bag of chips, and then you're just like, fuck, I'm still hungry. like, it's weird. It's like if you really want to get into it, it's like you really need to like look into like, you know, the diet, what you're eating. Are you getting like the proper amount of like carbs, and the proper amount of like fats and proteins and all that stuff? Because if you start lacking of a resource that your body needs for your like daily routine, you're gonna be hungry. You're gonna like you're gonna constantly want something to eat, right? Like,
and you're not going to get it from like some foods that would just be like super
Exactly.
processed. Wouldn't have much. Maybe that's why like people want to like indulge more. Like I find when I go to the drive-through, like if I take like I'm eating healthy for a while and then I eat some drive-through, I'm like, oh, why did I get that?
Yeah.
And then I'll go again and it's like
Oh,
it's like not as like it tastes better the next time
Yeah.
for some reason.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I know, because it's like it's almost like a drug, I guess, in that sense. Yeah, because the thing with fast food is that they have food engineers and stuff that really have done a lot of tests on like plenty of people to find like the perfect mixture of like that just the right amount of salt and just the right amount of fat and just the right amount of like, you know, everything, so that like it just tastes so good to our brain, you know, like when we're
Yeah.
eating it. It's like the taste experience of like everything at once. So it's just like all the pleasure hormones like basically just fucking released like at once while you're like eating. It's like, oh fuck, this is so good.
Dopamine.
Yeah, the dopamine, exactly, right? So
I'm still trying to like understand this dopamine thing and how that stuff like I know it has to work with the friggin' reward center in the brain. It has something to do with like anticipating the reward.
yeah, it's like I think so. I think dopamine is like the anticipation of the reward. Like in your brain, it's kind of like it's what motivates you to like do things. You know, like the dopamine is kind of like your I guess in a sense like your reward center of the brain, or like your like reward resource. I'm gonna say, like for like you anticipate something and you work towards it, and like because you have that drive that's like, yeah, like I'm gonna do this because I know it's gonna be worth it, or like I know it's like that's like the dopamine that's like shooting out and like motivating you to do these things type thing.
Interesting. Yeah, maybe that kind of what might drive someone to go to the drive-through, because it's like the payoff
Yeah,
is kind of huge. Like on a calorie level, you're getting your like sodium and all this stuff.
and also it's fast.
Yeah,
You know, you
lots
get
of
more time to do
sugar.
whatever you want to do.
Probably like absorbs right into the bloodstream really
Oh, yeah.
quick. There, you just like zing.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of the way I see fast food. I see fast food as like it'll give you exactly the hunger satiety like at that moment, or like exactly satisfy your craving at the moment. But you're gonna be hungry again in like an hour and a half or something. Like it's not gonna fully satiate you.
Yeah.
It's gonna be just kind of like and it's funny because like you ate those calories, they're still in you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you have the energy in you, but your brain is just not. It just got released so quickly in you that like your brain's still telling you like, hey, like you didn't eat enough today, or like, hey, you didn't when you did you had you absolutely did, you had enough calories from the like most fast food meals are like almost like your daily intake of like salt or fat like in one meal, but since it's just like so like based around just being so tasty for your brain and everything, and not offering like the rest of the variety in nutrition, your brain is still like, hey, like I'm hungry because I didn't get these vitamins, or like I'm hungry because I didn't get this part, or like, you know, I'm hungry because like I want more. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
I guess it kind of like it like kind of makes your brain maybe think that like you like it has to be a lot of calories for it to be like interesting in a way, because it's like you want to like it like if you're eating healthier, you're probably not eating as much, and you're probably more like satisfied with eating a salad or something like that. But then it's like kind of like, but then you have like some McDonald's, and then it's just like way higher, like,
Yeah.
and then you get used to that being kind of like a baseline kind of thing or something, because
Yeah.
it's like, and you go back to a salad, and the salad just kind of
Yeah.
tastes soggy or something.
Yeah. Or it's just not as exciting. You know, you're just like, fuck, this is boring.
Baconator.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's fun. I find like my ADHD makes it so I go in fucking waves all the time. So like, I'll be like cooking food at home, doing really good, you know, like eating nice meals and stuff for like a week, and then I'll be eating fast food for like 5 days, and then I'll be back to getting groceries and eating good for like a week, and then another week of like fast food, and like I'm just fuck. Hard to break that cycle, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, kind of go with cycles like that too. I'll eat healthier, then I'll bounce back to the drive-through. But I find like each time it's not quite as bad. But
yeah, it's like it's kind of like a wave, but like the tendency is going down, I guess. in
Yeah.
a sense there. Yeah. So yeah, if you look at it long term, it's still going down. So it's like, okay, I'm still doing good, you know.
yeah, like short-term fluctuations, but it's like more the long term.
Yeah.
trend, I guess, would be
Exactly, right? And it's better to do it that way because cold turkey barely ever works for anything. Like cold turkey can work because it has worked for some people, but usually for cold turkey, like you need like almost like a dramatic event happening in your life, you know, or like some like fucking like something that really like motivates you to like be like it's absolutely 100% not worth it.
doctor's gonna be
anymore,
like, you
know,
got
like-
3 weeks to live.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Something like that, you know, and even then it's like, you know, even then it's like some people try
Yeah.
and they still can't, even when they have like the 3 days, 3 weeks. 3 days would be, if I had 3 days to live, I'd basically say fucking do everything at that point there.
Yeah, that's true.
But
yeah.
like 3
could go-
weeks, unless I, if doctor said like 3 weeks, unless I do something, well, I definitely try to do that thing, you know, like, or I definitely try to like eat less or like something, but you know, everybody's different, you know, nobody's going to have the same motivation, the same like willpower, or, you know, the same want really to do it as well, right? Like sometimes it's just like,
Yeah.
I had a good life, or like, I don't know, like,
It's like trying to do it strictly on willpower, like versus just kind of making like little adjustments.
yeah,
and-
exactly. It's like, it's better. Our brain works better if you trick it. So like if you do like just little adjustments here and there to kind of like trick it to like not realize it's being trained, I guess, in a sense, you know, like doing little things like hiding your chips in a different drawer that you don't open as much, you know,
Yeah,
because then like
that's true.
you're just not really going to think about the chips as much because you're not seeing them every time you open that drawer, or like
anything in arm reach, pretty
anything in
much.
arm reach. Yeah, exactly. You know, like because like if I leave a bag of chips open on my desk or something and I don't eat the whole thing and I just leave it there like closed up, next time I set my PC, I'm probably gonna crack that open and eat it. But if I put it in like an air drawer or something, like, so I've seen myself forget about a bag of chips for like a week and a half. You know what I mean? And I open it, I'm like, oh shit, I still have that, and then I'll eat it if it's still good there. But
Yeah, you gotta like hide it on yourself.
yeah, yeah. But you know, just goes to show that
Yeah.
sometimes, like when you just do little tricks like that for your brain, like
Go to the grocery store when you're not high and
yeah,
hungry.
the dopamine levels are at normal there.
Yeah.
No.
That
Yeah, I think I should probably get going there.
was a good conversation, though, Frank.
Yeah, man, that was fun. Thank you
Great
for
having
me
you out,
Yeah,
Goldfish.
pleasure, man. Thanks for having me out.
Yeah, pleasure, man. All right, so we'll be back here next Tuesday on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. We'll see you then. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We'll see you next time.